Professor Wergely is here. Let's take a look at do notify. Now I saw myself writing platform run later, which is executing the UI updates on the main thread. I saw myself writing that over and over again. You don't want to do that. You see yourself writing it over and over again. Create a method. Take advantage of OOP, object-oriented programming. So here, do notify, make sure notification is not equal to null. Notification is passed in as a parameter. Let's see, it looks like this is spelled wrong. So notification, let me fix that really quick. Looks like I'm missing an A. You may want to spell that correctly there. So what this is doing here, and if I'm writing notes, you'll probably see this on a quiz or on a test later. This method allows a notification handler. Do you remember we did this with MVC? We had the event listeners for the UI. We also had the property change support listeners for the data. That way we can truly separate the model, the view, and the controller. So that's what we're doing here. We're having a notification handler to be registered to receive notifications. And what does that mean? I don't know where I need to update the UI yet. Before, we passed over a text area. If you remember in the last thread example, in the constructor, we passed over a text area and we said, update these numbers on that text area. But that's not a good programming practice. I'm passing over a UI element to the model. Okay, we don't want to pass over UI elements to the model. The reason I did that last time is because we weren't focusing on proper programming techniques. We weren't focusing on MVC. So now I'm going to pass over what I want to be updated as a parameter here to this method. That way I'm not passing over a text area. Once I have that, as long as it's not equal to null, I'm going to call platform.runLater, which executes on the main thread. If I want to update the UI, I need to execute it on the main thread's run method. Okay, so you see that here, run later. Now I'm going to call notification.handle. Handle is actually from our interface. So you see percent complete. I'm going to pass over the state and the message. Okay, now handle will actually write in the controller. We want to keep everything separate. We don't want to pass over UI elements here. So I want to update the user. So you'll see do notify, that's updating the UI. And then to update the UI, I need to call run later. And then it's the handle method. If I go back to my interface, my functional interface, here's handle. So handle is not defined yet. I'm going to define that in the controller. I'm going to pass that over. I don't know what I'm going to update at this time. I'm going to pass that over as long as it's of type notification, which is my interface. Okay, you'll see notification there. As long as the interface type matches, I'll pass that over. And then I'll call the handle method, which will update the UI. And it'll keep everything separated. So you can consider this my model. And my controller, I'm basically calling the controller's handle method to then update the UI. Okay, so let's write this down. This provides the notification through the registered notification handler. Okay, so you can think of it just like MVC. We had event listeners for the button clicks. So you click a button, it goes to an event listener in the controller, and then that tells the model to start. Then we had our timeline updating the seconds elapsed, and the seconds elapsed will be passed back through a property change listener. And that way we can keep everything separate. This is the same concept. I'm just passing it through a notification handler instead of a property support handler or an event listener with a button click. So now we need to see how to run this. Okay, we're going to do that in the controller. Right now, everything's ready. So I have unzip. It's a thread. I've defined on the run method what I want to happen concurrently. What's going to happen concurrently is I'm going to open up a file and unzip it. And I'm going to go to the next file that's going to be happening concurrently. So it's quick. In fact, I've tested this program compared to my regular operating system unzipper, and this one beats it. So this program here is faster than Mac's unzip. So I want to unzip the whole directory. For Mac, it does one zip file at a time. For this one, they're all happening concurrently. So this one's even quicker than my MacBook's unzip from the default operating system. Now we need to run this thing. This is a thread. This is a blueprint. This is a class. It's worthless until I load it into memory and call the start method. This is just a blueprint. I actually need to run this. We're going to do that in the next video. Stick with Professor Wergeles, and we'll see you in the next video.